Namaskar. Every living being in this planet Earth have emotions. So whether it is human beings, plants and animals. Our ancient scripture says that even stones have emotions. Like we can take one example like माता अहल्या को भगवान राम ने मुक्ति दिलाई थी. शालिग्राम में भगवान नारायण है. So our ancient scriptures are full of curiosity, and we as a human being, it is an opportunity for us to explore this universe through the knowledge of the ancient scriptures. So when we talk about emotions, there are two kinds of emotions irrespective of gender, but in order to categorize it, they are calling it as a cold and wet emotions like feminine emotions, hot and dry emotions, that is masculine emotions. So when we talk about hot and dry emotions, those are like stress, anger, ego, frustration, anxiety. These are all this kind of emotions comes under hot emotions, hot and dry emotions. And pituitary gland, which is inside our brain, it manages if we have exposed ourselves to sunlight. Already we have made a video that how much important is sunlight and moonlight is for us in order to have a very balanced pituitary gland and pineal gland activation within this human body. So we know that when we want to control our emotions, so we want to decrease our hot and masculine emotions, and we want to increase or we want to enhance the cold and wet emotions within every human life, because that is the aim of human life. All the divine qualities are always being associated with the human being when the pineal gland of that human being is working very nicely. So pineal gland works better when it is being exposed to darkness. But which darkness? That is when the nature is dark. It's not like making our room dark in a daytime and we are thinking that our pineal gland will work very nicely. The Almighty, who is the engineer of this human body, he is the master, and he knows that how his children will live happily in this planet Earth. So that's why the first thing, if we want to have a very good and very balanced human life, we have to have very controlled emotions. So if we will expose our body to a good amount of darkness, when nature is dark, pineal gland will work very nicely and cold and wet emotions will enhance automatically. So there are so many emotions which comes under the category of cold and wet emotions like compassion, truth, honesty, modesty, beauty. So these are the various things which comes under the category of feminine emotions. But when we see that when we are working on these emotions, one emotion is very common in all these emotions, that is the emotion of love. Every human being is unique. Every human being have their own respective Gyanendriyas and Karmendriyas active for them. They know that which organ is good for them. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is being prescribed that first few chapters it is being mentioned about Karma Yoga. Then the next few chapters they have emphasized on Gyan Yoga, and the last few chapters they have emphasized on Bhakti Yoga. So when we speak about love, it is love with devotion, that is the Bhakti. So it all depends. when we are working towards our to free ourselves from the cycle of birth and death, then definitely our all scriptures are giving the directions to this human life so that we can attain liberation. Mahakumbha video, Mahashivratri video, we have already discussed that during a Samudra Manthan, how Bhagwan Shiv have first drank the poison which came out first from the Samudra Manthan. And if we will observe it carefully, the last thing which came out from Samudra Manthan was elixir, that is the Amrit, and that too it was being brought by a lady, a feminine character, and the feminine character was holding the elixir which was supposed to be drank by both the demons and the Bhagwans. So here we will come to know that when we know that this characteristics is very strong for us, at that time we think that this yoga is important and we can attain liberation if we want to walk through that path. As we know, our ancestors were always curious about this human body and human soul. So whatever was invisible to this physical eyes, still they have discovered it because they knew that this human body is nothing but a mere reflection of the human soul. So already we have made a video that how our ancestors have given emphasis on our energy channels. In the similar way, when something is invisible to the human eyes and that becomes the fundamental unit of this human existence, then what about they have then they have thought about that how this body is working with so much of easiness within itself. So when we look to the cell of our body, that is the fundamental unit of our this human body is cell. And if we look to this cell always goes through a process known as mitosis. That is, the parent cell is dividing into two identical daughter cells. That means the daughter cells are completely Xerox copy of each other, and all these three are equal to each other. And the beauty of these cells are they never fight with each other. They always they might go through a process of repulsion, attraction. Whenever the cell division happens, it emits some sound which is not audible to the human ear, but still, so there are different mechanisms which whenever a cell division happens, it always gives two identical daughter cells. So when we see that when we bring only one emotion to the surface of our mind, that is compassion, love, the cell division occurs very nicely and very smoothly. Is that what our ancestors have seen, that whenever we are bringing the feminine emotions to the surface of the mind, the cell division is happening it very nicely. And just today we see the cancerous cells. Everywhere you see, every part of our body is now having some or the other kind of cancerous cells. So if we look to the cancerous cells, the nature of cancerous cells are they always fight with each other. Yes, they always fight with each other. So that's why one good trick to fight with cancerous cells, that is to bring just one emotion, that is the emotion of love at the surface of our mind, which will bring an environment of compassion and love for the cell division, and each cell division will happen it very effectively and nicely. As we know, every day we are growing. The certain kind of repairing is every time going on inside this body. So only one thing, if we can do it, that is to bring the feeling of love and compassion to the surface of our mind. The fundamental unit of this body, that is cell division, will occur very smoothly, easily, effectively, and also with so much of goodness that this body will feel happy and healthy. Now, this knowledge, our ancestors had it, that only one emotion, we keep it at the surface of our mind, the fundamental unit of our body is working very nicely. But how to bring this message to generation after generation so that there will be no disease in this planet Earth, and each body will leave this earth. The soul will very easily leave this body in this earth with so much of easiness that it will never enter to the cycle of birth and death. So now we had so many yugas: Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, Kali Yuga. So this bhakti, that is love with devotion, is playing in every yugas. But when we see that what are like our scriptures mentioned, there are 9 forms of bhakti, that is love and compassion. So the first, like Shravan, that if you are constantly, we will cover one more video describing all these 9 forms of bhakti. We will just discuss here the different types of bhakti today. So there are 9 forms of bhakti, like Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, then Pada Seva, Archanam, Vandanam, Daksham, Shaksham, Atma Nivedan. So these are the different kind of bhakti is there. That means these are the different kind of action, that is which we can do with our Gyanendriya and Karmendriya in order to bring this one component, that is love with devotion, at the surface of our mind, which will make this body work very easily and effectively. So when through these yugas like Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. So all these things, what our ancestors have observed it, that this component, that is this component of love with compassion, that is devotion, bhakti, is decreasing day by day, decreasing day by day. So that's why our Brijvashi, they have seen that all these 9 forms of bhakti or devotion, the love, the compassion, they have found out when Radhaji was with our Bhagwan Krishna. So these are just for us to remember ourselves that how Radhaji loved our Bhagwan Krishna with all the 9 forms of bhakti. How Bhagwan Krishna has loved Mata Radha with so much of love and compassion, with all the 9 forms of bhakti, with so much of compassion within themselves, that they have thought that these 2 images of Radhaji and Krishnaji, if we will make temples in our this Bhagwan name and will spread this message to mankind, to humanity, from generation to generation, that this one thing we have to keep always and always at the surface of our mind, so that the fundamental unit of our growth of our of this human body, that is the cell division, that is the mitosis, will happen, whether it is meiosis or mitosis. This cell division will happen easily and effectively then this is the reason why till today, when somebody is in deep love with the Almighty, definitely they will remember Radha ji and Krishna ji. So maybe we will be discussing for another just few more minutes about this so that we will conclude this video. So this only for rest of this video can we keep the love, the compassion at the surface of our mind and listen to this video till the end, because this is one thing which is slowly decreasing in our society. We as a human being, we are playing so many roles in our day-to-day life. In every role, in whatever relationship we are, if we can bring this compassion, this love, this devotion within that relationship, every relationship will blossom like a flower. So that is why they have already in Vrijdham, in Vrindavan, whenever somebody goes to Vrindavan, they say that we are so much drenched with the devotion of Bhagwan Krishna in Vrindavan that we don't want to leave Vrindavan for any reason. So it is just a pure love. So whether we are in our household work, or we are in our office work, or in our education, or we are going to school, colleges, no matter. So usually people will ask questions that why Krishna ji has not married Radha ji. So my dear friends, whenever we speak about love, it is not the couple marriage. What our ancestors wanted us to know is the devotion. Whenever a cell is dividing into two pair of identical daughter cells, are those daughter cells are marrying to each other? No, those two daughter cells are the best friends. They are compassion to each other, they are loving each other, they repel, they attract, they do everything, but they never ever fight. So which cells are fighting within our body? It is only and only the cancerous cells are fighting always within this body. Just one thought, we are keeping it at the surface of our mind, and each cell of our body is getting that energy of Radha ji and Krishna ji. So this holy Purnima, we are going to celebrate the foundation of our country, our Bharat, that is love with compassion and devotion. Already we have discussed in one of our video that when Mata Devaki and Bhagavan Vasudev was after marriage heard the Akashvani, then why they have entered into Grihastha ashram. So these all things we have discussed in our videos. So in our ancient days, Grihastha ashram was, if anybody was entering to Grihastha ashram, it was not because of any kind of thinking about some bad emotions, but the only responsibility to give a healthy cognitive child to the society was the responsibility of that couple who was entering to Grihastha ashram. So whenever from next time we see we see the picture of Radha ji with Krishna ji, where we find Krishna ji will be in deep love with Radha ji, or Radha ji is having so much of love for Krishna ji. So it is the love, the compassion, the devotion which that picture is asking us to keep it at the surface of our mind, so that the minimum fundamental unit which is happening inside this body, that is cell division, that is the mitosis, the meiosis, should happen with an healthy and very cozy environment, so that there will be no cancerous cells in any human body of our country. So with this, we have to, all of us, make a vow today that in this holy, how Bhakta Prahalad was always in a constant smaran of Bhagwan Krishna or Bhagwan Narayan. So this is the time we have to make our children know about the value of devotion, which is getting slowly fading away from our country. We have to, all of us, bring back again through this holy back to our society, community and our family. Jai Bharat.